my sweets, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making no-sew quilted pillow covers. This project is easy, completely customizable, and a lot of fun. Stick around to learn how I create these unique quilted pillow covers without sewing a single stitch. For this project I'll be using a 20 by 20 pillow cover, a reusable stencil, some fabrics, a 3-inch hexagon, fabric marker, paintbrushes, scissors, fabric Mod Podge, and some paints. I have my pillow cover here, and what I've done is I've taken a piece of cardboard and cut it down and placed it inside. And so now I'm going to just go ahead and zip it inside. And then I'm going to turn it over. And you just want to make sure that you have the correct side up. Now, I did literally just get done pressing this, but since I had to manipulate it to get the cardboard in, it wrinkled again. I guess that's the price you pay for working with 100% cotton. So, now what I have next here is my stencil, and I purchased this at Walmart, and it comes with two 12 by 12 sheets in the set, and it says it has 11 designs. I guess they count each one of these individually on here, and it has a really cool project that you can do if you'd like on there, but I'm going to be putting this on here. So what I'm going to do is get this centered up on here, and I'm going to tape it down with some masking tape. I might run back over it with the iron again just to get this wrinkled part out of the middle here. But I'm going to get this as centered as best I can. And what I'm actually focusing on is just the laurel here and the bee that I want centered. So I'm going to go ahead and get that taken care of, and I will be right back. I've gotten the stencil as centered as I can on here, and what I have here now is a mixture of black apple barrel multi-surface paint and also the chocolate sprinkle. The reason why I added the chocolate sprinkle in is because I'm on the last little dregs of the black here, and I wanted to keep it dark as possible and still be able to cover this area here. So I added that in, and I think that's going to be more than enough for what I need here. So I'm going to take my stencil brush, and I think I'm going to go ahead and tape off this little area just in case it gets a little bit too out of control. I'm going to do it with my tape. So I'm going to tape off the wings here. I just want to make sure that I don't get any black onto my wings. That's good there. So I'm going to take my stencil brush and I'm going to dip into and load it up with this paint. Then I'm going to come back and get most of it off. And I have a paper towel over here on the side also. And all I'm going to do is come in and stipple this paint on. And I'm just going to go over the whole thing. I think I am pretty satisfied with how that is looking right now, so I'm going to go ahead and wash out my brush from this black. Okay, so the next colors I have that I'm going to use are these two green colors. One is bright green, and this one is, this is bright green, and this is fresh foliage. And I'm thinking I want to mix, just to darken this one up a little bit, I'm going to mix some of this in with it. Alright, that's good there. And now I'm just going to go around firstly with the dark color. Then I'm going to come in and just put some highlights in of that color, of the lighter, I think that one's called Fresh Foliage. Foliage, excuse me. So I'm going to offload some of this color. And then I'm just going to come in and go around here. Okay, I'm just going to come in. I'm not even going to rinse out my brush this time for this color. And I'm just going to come over. There's some little bud looking things, and I just want to come over those and highlight those out a little bit. Remove this tape. Okay, so next I'm going to come in with the Snow White and try to find the spot on my plate here. And I'm just going to do the wings. And I'm going to try my best not to go back over into, you know what? I think that's dry enough. I'm going to go ahead and tape it because I'm afraid that I'm going to go over. So I'm just going to put a small piece of tape right there. And another small piece of tape right here on the edge of this. That way I don't overstep. So I'm going to go ahead and dip in. And go ahead and do this part here with the white. And now I have some pearl white. It's a metallic. And I'm going to go over that white with just a little bit of this. And I'm hoping that this will give the wings just a little bit of iridescence. Make them look kind of pretty. Okay, so I think I'm done with this part. Let's peel that off. And peel off this stencil. And we'll see what it's looking like underneath. And look at that. I do have a little bit of spaces here where I went over, but I think that's going to be all right. So I'm going to set this aside a little bit for it to dry up a little bit more. Then what I want to do is come back in and just fill in these spots right here with a little bit of yellow to bring the bee aspect into it some more, and then move on to the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and get cleaned up, and I will be back. All right, so next I have some fabrics here, and just so you know, these came in a fat quarter bundle from Walmart, and then this one came in just one piece that was 1 yard from Walmart. For this project, you don't necessarily have to get new fabrics. You can use fabric scraps if you have them in your stash, or you can also use old pieces of clothing. You just want to make sure that it is 100% cotton, and you also want to be sure to pre-wash all of your fabrics. So I did pre-wash all of these, and I also did pre-wash the pillow cover before I started working on it. So what I have here is just a white color pencil. You may want to use like a fabric pencil. I think these will wash out, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like I've used them before on fabric and it washed out, but I would typically use it on the back of the back of the fabric, not on the good side of the fabric. But since I have this dark color, which I'm not going to use this one, but I think I am going to incorporate this one. I'm pretty sure that this pen that I have that's it either disappears or it's water soluble. It's not going to show up on this one. So I just wanted to give you an option if you do happen to have a fabric that's darker that you want to use these to use with your project. So what I'm going to do is trace around this hexagon that I got off of Google. I just Googled 3-inch hexagon and I was able to print a sheet off of these, and I'm going to go ahead and trace around this. And then simply cut it out. So I'm going to trace around this a couple of times here, just so you can get an idea of what I'm doing here. Oops. I'm just going to pencil that in, and I'm just going to put one right here. And for this part, I was watching a YouTube video from Plaid. I think it's called Plaid Online is the YouTube channel. I'll link it in the description box below if anyone's interested in checking that out. But they did a denim jacket with this technique here. So I thought, oh, that would be really cute as throw pillows. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut along my lines here. That's what those are going to look like, and I'm going to go ahead and cut some out of these and this one. And then for this one, what I'm going to do is cut out some of these boots here. So I'm gonna open this up and decide where I'm going to cut. Okay, I'm gonna cut right here. And cut this boot out. And since this one is cut off, I'm going to go ahead and just set that one to the side. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and what they call fussy cut around the edge of this. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but I think the effort is worth the reward with this project. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut out, and I'm going to go ahead and fast forward you so you aren't sitting here watching me cut this out for 15 minutes. You get the idea of what I'm doing here with these. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a few more out, and then I'm going to come back with the actual pillow cover to finish the painting on that, and I will be right back with you. The next color I have here is Pale Yellow by Folkart, and I'm just going to use that color to go in between some of the black parts here. So I'm just going to get some on my brush and just paint some in between the black here. And I'm just going to get as close as I can to the black without going over. But because I had to mix the paint, what I did was I scraped what was left on that plate into a separate container, so that if I do have to do any touch-ups, since I had to mix that one, then I have it on hand. So this is essentially what I'll be doing here. And so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. And then once this is dry, I will be back with you. I've gotten all of the pieces of fabric cut out, and you will notice a change. I did go ahead and cut hexagons out of the fabric that had the boots on it, because after I got it laid out, I kind of felt like the boot was the wrong scale, like it's not big enough for this application. So I might not be using those, but I still wanted to use this fabric, so I cut the hexagons out of this. Now I did cut 10 of each of these, and I believe that's going to be more than enough for the front of this pillow cover. So now what I've done also off camera is I went ahead and I heat set this by taking this pad here. It's for ironing, like if you have a, what is that thing called? Like an easy press. So I stuck it inside, and then I put a piece of parchment paper on it, and I took my little mini iron to the setting of cotton, and I just went over this whole thing for 5 minutes, and then I let it cool. So you want to heat press if you're just using like regular acrylic paint, because otherwise if you go to put this in the wash, it may wash out if you don't. So what I'm going to do, because I'm not fantastic at being random, is I'm just going to lay out all of my pieces over this whole thing. It's a little extra work, but because I'm not a random person, I find it hard to do, I should say, things randomly. I'm going to lay these out first in the order that I have them laid out here. Then I'm going to skip 2 and then go back up here. And continue to lay them out in this order over the whole thing. Excuse me. Okay, so now I know that I skipped 2 and I started with this one, so I'm going to go and skip 2 and start with this one this time. And I'm just going to continue this until I get all the way across. So you can see I did get a little bit confused as to what I was doing towards it. Once I got to the halfway point, I don't know what happened. But I got it. I think I got it right now. So now what I'm going to do is go back in and look for the ones that I know that are covering the image underneath and pull those out. So that's what it's looking like so far. And I'm just gonna shimmy these over just so it's not covering the image here. So I think that this is a pretty good layout here. And so what I'm gonna do now is start sticking them down. So I have the fabric Mod Podge here, and this sealer here, it is washable in cold water on the gentle cycle after 72 hours. So what I'm going to do is, it says to put the Mod Podge on the back of the fabric cutout, smooth it in place, let it dry for 2 hours, and then come back and seal back over it. So that's what we're going to do. So I have a paintbrush here, and I'm just going to turn my fabric over and start painting this on. I'm going to make sure to get to the edges, because we definitely don't want this peeling back up. Okay. And I'm just going to set this down right about in here and then smooth it down with my fingers. And I still have the cardboard inside. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on doing this whole thing, and I'll come back to you when it's time to get this thing sealed up. Okay, so I came back. I'm not done actually putting everything on that I wanted to put on before I am sealing it. I'm just now finishing actually the layout of the hexagons. But while I was sitting here doing all of these, I was thinking about what I could do with these flowers that I've cut out from the fabric that had the boots on them. So what I'm going to do is layer some of these on here, and I want to see if I can match up some of the flowers that I've cut out onto this to make them more whole, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start pulling some out here just to see what I have here that would match. Now this one looks like it matches up here to this one. So this is kind of the idea that I had, to kind of overlap the sunflowers from the original, excuse me, the original piece here, and then bring it to overlap onto this side. So then I would look for one possibly that I may have cut out for over here or here that matches. Let me see. Is this it? No, that's backwards. And I think these, no. So that would end up being, am I crazy? Sorry. Oh, well, that's debatable. Okay, these are mirrored, but they're not the same. So let's see. Looks like I don't have anything to match this one. So let's go over here and see if any of these match anything over here. And I'm not seeing anything. So probably what I'm going to do, just to make my life a little bit easier, is either just kind of stick them in and make them match, which would still be cute. Actually, I think this one, nope, still mirrored. Okay, so this one would go here. So you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about when I'm saying to match them back up. So that's the general idea. I just wanted to share that with you, so you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this part up. And I may just add some down here because somehow the pattern didn't work out to where these were down here. So I may just kind of sprinkle a couple in just to tie everything in here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue doing this, and then I'll be back with you once I'm getting ready to seal it. Also, before I go, I just want to make you aware that this is a really messy craft, DIY. You do get a lot of glue on your hands, so if that's not something that you're into. Another way that you can do this is to sew it, but not everybody has access to sewing or a sewing machine, so this is a good alternative, even though it's a little bit messy. But who doesn't like to get a little bit messy, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this, and I will show you me placing this, and then I will be back. I've gotten all of the flowers in place now that I'm going to place all over, and I really love how this is looking. So the last thing to do now is to go ahead and go over this and seal these in. So I'm going to go ahead and just come right up to the edges here and seal it in. And then once this is fully dry, it's washable again after 72 hours. Also behind the scenes, I've been working on a second one because, you know, it's got to have one to match. It's not exactly the same, so I will show you how that one came out in final pictures. So I'll be back with those. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you were inspired to make some of your own no-sew quilted pillow covers. If you enjoyed this project, give me a thumbs up and share in the comments what fabrics you would use to make yourself a set. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for more fun DIY projects and creative inspiration. And I'll see you next time.